Today we are going to be talking about how to pull out a specific color from an image using the color range technique. Okay, so for example, if I want to pull out just the yellow of the taxi, how can I quickly select only things that are yellow in my image and make everything else black and white? Okay, so to do this, everyone should have this image pulled up in Photoshop. If you go to Select, and then Color Range, this color range box is going to come up, and I'm going to move mine over to the side so I can see. Anything that's white is what's going to be selected. So I just want you to sample. You've got your eyedropper tool that shows up as your mouse. Sample a couple of different colors and see what happens. So if I come and select the red over here, if I select the yellow of the taxi, what is happening? The white of the sky. The white spots change, so those are the selections that are changing, or the colors that are going to be selected. Let's go ahead and click on the yellow and the Kodak sign right here. And you'll see for the most part it picks up the Kodak sign and then the yellow of the taxis. Okay, but as you can see, it's not picking up the whole taxi. So what I want to do is I want to change from my selection, my original selection, I want to add to the selection. Okay, so I'm going to click the eyedropper with the plus sign next to it. Now I'm going to come in my taxi and I'm going to start clicking more of the yellow pixels, paying attention that I don't click the black part in the taxi or the tires or the headlights or the grill or anything like that, because that will pick up more pixels that are black and colors that I don't want. So the more I can select just yellow, the more it's going to start filling in the taxi area right here. Now, don't panic if it starts showing some white stuff up in here. I'll show you a quick way how we're going to get rid of that. Okay? So I'm going to click in just a couple of spots to pick that up. If you completely mess up and it's like, oh no, what do I do from here? Just go back to the original eyedropper tool, click the Kodak, then go back to my plus eyedropper tool and select. So I think that this is fairly good. That selection picked up a lot more stuff, but I want to show you how to remove, so not too big of a deal. Okay. Once you are happy with this, you're going to say OK. Okay, and what happens? So it's selecting. You should see a bunch of marching ants of things that it's selected. Now, as you can see, I'm seeing a bunch of marching ants up here in my background, and that's not what I want selected. So I am going to go to my marquee tool, and I'm going to get a rectangular marquee tool. So the second option, rectangular marquee tool. And in my options up here, my selection options, I've got select, I've got add to selection, I have remove from selection, and I want that third option right there, remove from selection. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some boxes around the areas that I don't want selected anymore, and that's going to deselect those options. Okay. Some of these, as I'm getting in here, I might need to zoom in my image and really focus on picking up some of those areas. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this taxi that's back here. I'm focusing just on these front two and that Kodak sign. So just going to skate around my image and make sure there's no areas that I'm like, I don't want that to be selected. You do want the Kodak sign. You want the Kodak sign and the front two taxis. You get your selection tool here. And you can use any of these. You could use the lasso, the magnetic lasso, the magic wand, and then you choose the third option right here, which is subtract from selection. So I'm seeing some red pixels got picked up, so I must have clicked on something that was kind of red looking. Okay. So now, I think for the most part I got removed from the selection everything that I want to remove. Now I want to make sure I'm adding to the selection. So I want to make sure I get the whole taxi. So I might come in with my marquee tool. And now instead of remove from selection, I might select add to selection. And come in and get the inner part of my taxi to make sure that that is all selected. Now the marquee tool may not be the best tool for some of the more finite details. So I may want to come in instead, because not everything is square, I may want to come in instead and use my lasso tool. And that's just going to let me, add selection. That's just going to let me kind of freehand a little bit what I want selected. So that's my lasso tool. Again, making sure that I'm using add to selection. And you can bounce between tools. So I'm going to bounce between my marquee and my lasso tool just because I'm finding there are some general areas that I need. And when we convert like everything but the taxis to black and white, some of these areas on the taxi you're not going to be able to notice that they're not color as well, but still doing your best to grab them. The image is a little pixelated, so it's not going to be perfect, but we're getting the general gist taken care of. So I'm going to zoom out and see what else I have. So I might come in here and zoom that in and get some of that. No, because they're black and white, and when we convert it to black and white, it's not really going to pick that up. Focusing just mostly on the body of our taxi. So once you have your selection, and let me just remind you, I guess, found one area I forgot. Let me just remind you where we went to find that. That was select and color range. That's where we went to find that, okay? From here, I want to turn everything but my selection black and white. So how do I invert my selection? What's my keyboard shortcut? Control-Shift-I will select everything but the color, the taxis, okay? So I'm finding when I do that, there's an area up here that I messed up or I forgot. So I'm going to get my subtract from selection option. Oh, nope, that's wrong. Add to selection. There. To get that. Okay? And now I want to make them, I want to desaturate. What's my keyboard shortcut for desaturating or making it black and white? Control-Shift, what? U. We'll make it all black and white. And anytime we make anything black and white, what should we do? Adjust the what? Levels. Levels. So if I hit Control L, it's going to bring up my levels. And I want to kind of make some more contrast, brighten my pixels, adjust my midtones a little bit. Again, this is all up to you. How are you doing? So if you turn on and off the preview, you can see how much depth you're adding to your image just by maybe darkening the black pixels and lightening the white pixels and adjusting those midtones, those in-betweeners. Okay? So after you hit Control L and you've got what you like, you'll say OK. And now once you're happy with your image, you'll Control D to deselect. Okay, so I like this technique because there's a lot of advertisements where it may be a black and white image with a pop of color. Maybe the shirt or the person is in color, but the background is not. This is a quick technique to pull out a color from something. From here, you could go in pretty easily. You could add some of those boxes we've done before. Get your eyedropper tool to find the exact shade of yellow. You know, fill that selection with your foreground color. Go in and add some text. Okay, I'll put free taxi. Go ahead and add some text in there. I don't know. You guys are going to be more creative than me in this moment, but making some sort of an advertisement for whatever your image is. So I know some of you have a few questions, and I'll come around and help you individually in just a second, but I want to explain the assignment. So out in Classroom, there is the assignment, this color range, and your assignment is going to be able to find an image of your own, use the color range technique to design an advertisement for a company, school, or idea. So here's just a few examples from past years. I haven't pulled very many lately, but I need to. So this one, he went in and pulled, or she went in and pulled in just the green, okay, and made the sky black and white and made it a recycling advertisement, okay. He put in and he pulled out the color of the flag stick and then kind of made some advertisements there. He actually went in and added the PGA logo, which was a nice touch. And then she went in and just pulled the yellow from this Pittsburgh Steelers flag. And she didn't add any text and things, so that was something that they were docked on, but she at least pulled the color out of it. So do you see how cool it could make an image look when you've got, especially when it comes to like a sports team or something where a color is something very meaningful, you can pull that out pretty easily. I would highly encourage you to find an image that has a wide variety of colors. So if you just search red flowers, for example, it's going to be really hard to pull out a specific color from an image that's all red. You know what I'm saying? So something that's a little more vibrant is going to give you more options when it comes to your advertisement. This is due at the end of class today. You have 25 minutes to work on it, which should be more than enough time. All right? Can't wait to see what you make.